On our next Digging Detroit, you'll get a front row seat in two of the oldest movie houses in town as they reinvent themselves. First, the DIA's Detroit Film Theater has found a new wave of fans through its annual Oscar short screenings.
Well, we do it every year. It's a tradition. We come down and we see the shorts because we want to be a little bit more informed about what's being nominated, and so we can vote for ourselves when we're watching the awards.
So you can't go anywhere else to see these. And lots of times when you're watching the Academy Awards like I do, and they'll show a little clip of a film, and you think, well, what was that about? Because you don't get a chance to see it.
Then we'll head up Grand River to check out the Redford Theater. It's been around since the Roaring 20s, and now it's booked solid thanks to social media and celebrity appearances, while offering the best concession prices in town.
We have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter account, we have advertising in a lot of the newspapers. So my wife and I decided we would come and take a look. And we came, we walked up the stairs and looked at the balcony, looked at the theater for a minute, called my daughter from the balcony and said, "This is the place."
All this on the next Digging Detroit.
Okay, welcome back to Digging Detroit. I'm Kevin Walsh, and we are at a spot that a lot of people don't get to very often, and that's behind the Detroit Institute of Arts. Everyone knows it from its Woodward entrance, but right now we are looking at it from the point of view that few Detroiters see except those who know a little secret, and that is that of the Detroit Film Theater. And just recently, in the last 5 years, using the Oscar shorts as its springboard, the Detroit Film Theater has really jumped up its membership and exposed a lot of people to this amazing, amazing building. On this episode, we're going to take a look at both the Detroit Film Theater and the Redford Theater, both built in the 1920s and both gems that are just favorites for people that regularly go there.
We came from Birmingham. 6 of us drove down after brunch.
And what made you brave the elements to come on down here?
We've come every year for the last several years.
Well, right now we're watching the Oscar shorts. These are the nominated films from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And what's really cool about it is that this is the only place you can see all of the ones that were nominated in one spot in Michigan. Okay, so you can't go anywhere else to see these. And lots of times when you're watching the Academy Awards like I do, and they'll show a little clip of a film, and you think, well, what was that about? Because you don't get a chance to see it. You don't normally see it in a regular theater. But the DFT is like a champion for independent films, animation, art films. They do a lot.
Can you tell us, where did you come from to the theater today?
I made about a 45-minute drive from Sylvan Lake, Michigan, and despite the snow, I was determined to be here today because this is, not just saying this for the camera, one of my favorite annual events. I absolutely love that the DFT has the shorts. I'm excited that they're starting to show the documentaries now, and the Detroit Film Festival is something that I'm pretty much over the top about, that I hope they continue year after year too. So I'm really thrilled about their involvement with that. So.
I chair the arts department at University Liggett School, and I teach film and theater, and so I've been an actor, film person all my life. My wife and I started coming here in 1978 to see films when we were at Wayne State, and have made it, a regular part of our life.
The Oscar Shorts program is the big hit here. I feel like it's such a great experience for everyone from the area to come down to the theater who aren't necessarily film buffs and really interested in the independent foreign art house stuff that we really pride ourselves on, but just wants to have a good time and see some stuff that they've never, that they can't see anywhere else. So it's been fun. We get packed houses, we sell out show after show, and it's kind of become a tradition, I think, in the Detroit area, is to come see the Oscar shorts here.
You know, I had a grant in 2005 to go to the Sundance Film Festival, and I saw a series of shorts. And from that point on, I thought this is the most approachable way for kids to get into film. But they were never able to see it. They were, you know, unless you went to film festivals, you couldn't see the short films, animated and live action. When the DFT started bringing these in, it became the place you had to go because it was the one place that you could see these films. It is absolutely a must-have for the city. You can't see them anywhere else, and it brings film down to a really small level so students can see it and they can realize I can tell a story in 5 to 10 minutes.
What made you decide to become a member?
Well, because I come down here too often, and I don't know what else to tell you. I just love it down here. I just come alive when I'm walking down.
First of all, the DFT has been around for 40 years. And a large part of that time, I just came to see the movies, not too much involvement. Then Sue Marks, she's a film producer here in Detroit, asked if I'd be interested in being on the board. And I really believe in what they're doing here, maintaining this place. It's gorgeous, and it's the way films should be seen.
Where are you coming from?
From Birmingham.
And why do you come down to the Detroit Film Theater?
Well, we do it every year. It's a tradition. We come down and we see the shorts because we want to be a little bit more informed about what's being nominated, and so we can vote for ourselves when we're watching the awards.
Probably the thing I'm most interested in is the show that we go to every year, the Toronto International Film Festival. We take 30 or 40 people to Toronto and get engulfed into their films.
I take a group of students each year. It's amazing how many films we've seen there that show up in the Academy Awards. So Argo, and you know, it's just a great thing for the kids to see film and see what a really active city it is, but then also see how cities make a lot of money off of the arts, because when King Street closes down and TIFF lights up, it's all about the films.
Most people come on the train. We take the train from Windsor to downtown Toronto. You can walk from the train station to the hotel, and all of the venues are in walking distance. So it's very convenient. And one of the nice things about TIFF is that you get to talk about it with your friends that are there that are interested in film, both on the way to the Toronto and on the way back on the train. And we have breakfast every morning. Usually Elliot Wilhelm is there after marathon screenings. He's good enough to join us for breakfast.
Well, I know it's just the 40th anniversary of the film theater, the program that Elliot Wilhelm started. So they've been playing movies here a while, but I know the theater itself goes back, I think, into the 20s. So there have been performances and events taking place here forever. I actually have a friend who grew up in Detroit, and his piano recital was on stage here, I think in like the mid-50s.
Just great films, and just a nice place to come and relax and watch a good movie.
Well, we appreciate you coming down on a snowy afternoon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
The Redford Theater has not closed its doors since the 1920s. However, after World War II, as you'll find out, its Japanese motif was not very popular, and attendance dropped, and the theater came into disrepair. So we're going to talk to Steve Overstreet about how this theater has reinvented itself using social media, newsletters, and some really cool events that bring celebrities to town like Shirley Jones and Pam Grier. How long have you been here?
I've only been here 7 years, but many of our volunteers have been here over 30 years.
Your first time you came here was, you said, was your daughter's wedding?
7 years ago, our daughter's wedding. One daughter scoped out the place and suggested it, so my wife and I decided we would come and take a look. Mm-hmm. And we came, we walked up the stairs and looked at the balcony, looked at the theater for a minute, called my daughter from the balcony and said, "This is the place."
This is it. It's one of those, when I'm walking in here, and like I said, I've been coming here since 10th grade, 11th grade for me. It's one of those Tiger Stadium moments when you walk in up the ramp and then you see the field.
Yeah.
And for me, that's this whole.
That's a great analogy.
It's the nostalgia. It's a comfortable place. And
Right.
when I came here a few weeks ago, I brought some friends to see All About Eve. Two of my former students came, and they had never been here before. And that's the kick. I love sharing this theater.
Yeah.
And I will always, if somebody's up for coming, I'll come down, even if it's 2 times in one weekend, to see the same movie. And do you remember the first movie you saw here?
Actually, no.
Tell us about the first.
I remember one of them. It was House of Wax in 3D.
Okay.
So
did everybody get 3D glasses?
yes, and we're getting ready to do Dial M for Murder this summer in 3D, which is the way it was originally shot.
Really? I didn't know that.
Nobody knows that.
That's a great movie, Grace Kelly and
Yes.
Pair of Scissors. Yeah, I don't want to give away anything though.
Yeah, no, it'll be a great movie.
One of the things that's really impressed me that you've done, this organization, and I've been coming here since the early '80s. And I mentioned earlier, Brigadoon was my first movie here, and the ceiling was peeling,
Yes.
and the chairs had springs sticking in your back. And can you talk a little bit about the history of this theater, and then when did the Organ Society kick in?
Okay, the theater was built in 1928, and of course the showcase at that time was the Barton organ, which is the pipe organ. It was built in the theater at the same time. The theater has always been open, but it fell on hard times just a few years before we purchased it. It fell on really hard times after World War II because the theater design is a Japanese motif. It has the stars on the ceiling that light up and the clouds that travel. It's called an atmospheric ceiling. And the problem with trying to keep this theater open after World War II was that nobody wanted to come here and be reminded of Japan. Because all of the decoration and everything is Japanese. So the owners at the time tried to beef it up by covering up, removing, and painting over everything. He was going to sell the property. It was either going to be demolished or converted into a church or whatever. And the Organ Society at that time made a huge leap of faith and purchased the entire thing, lock, stock, and barrel. That's when all the work began, and all of the interior was completely refurbished, raising money. We found original stencils. Volunteers hand-painted everything that you see in the theater. The outer lobby was finished about maybe 5 years ago. That had a drop ceiling. They had put panels, wood panels on the walls, glued them on. So all that stuff had to be stripped.
So that was all to cover up the memories of Japan. Yeah.
Right, right. It didn't work. Right. The audience just kept shrinking and shrinking.
Right.
And so we took it over, developed the organ club, started showing, having special events with the organs. The movie business came along actually quite a few years later, and that was to help pay the bills. And we do the classic film series, and it's still going every other weekend. We do more special movie events than we used to. And then we have a rental business, which I run. And as I was saying earlier to you, the rentals for 2015 were pretty well sold out for this year. I'm booking for 2016.
Who rents the theater? Is it just movie screenings, or is
no? Okay, that's a good question. We host weddings. We host business meetings for corporations. We have a graduation coming up in June, a play coming up in March, concerts. We have a lot of concerts. We have the Asian Drumming Competition concert. Asian Drumming Competition is kind of a concert. That's going to be the first part of June. So we rent it out for just about anything that you can imagine, including the bodybuilding competition shows that usually happen once or twice a year.
Oh, really?
So yeah, all kinds of stuff. And then our movies, we bring in movie stars usually 2 to 3 times a year. People like our most recent was Rita Moreno in West Side Story, Shirley Jones.
I came for Pam Grier last year.
Pam Grier in February.
Yeah, and Charlie from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
And they're coming back this year.
Oh, okay. Mike TV too?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just talked to them. They're both coming back. Tippi Hedren is coming back.
Oh, boy.
We hope for Birds and Marnie, a combination.
Wonderful. Can you talk about the big event you've got coming up this month with the mayor?
Oh, yeah, the big event. This is a big event. It's important to note that this theater's been around since 1928. Since we've taken it over and been running it for almost 50 years, we've never had a mayor step foot inside the building, ever, even with invitation. This mayor contacted us and asked if he could do his address, his State of the City address, here from the theater live.
That's terrific.
And that's next Tuesday evening, by invitation only. I have to put that out there.
Yeah, no, you were talking about the security steps actually too, correct?
Yeah, a lot of security, metal detectors, no weapons, police. You know, I mean, it's quite a secure event.
Well, that's excellent. Congratulations.
So yeah, that was a real, just, you know, a blow away kind of moment for us. We're just thrilled.
One of the things that's totally blown me away since in the last few years has been your social media and your newsletter presence. Can you talk a little bit about how that has really helped the whole theater?
Linda Seitz is our public relations volunteer, and she's been doing this now for maybe 4 years. She is really quite brilliant when it comes to social media, although she would not admit that she is. We have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter account, we have advertising in a lot of the newspapers, and of course when we have movie stars, they like to be featured on all the major TV stations, 247, 62. So, and that's, they just want them because it's an exciting thing for Detroit.
So Linda spearheads all that?
Linda spearheads all of that.
Well, I love, you know, the newsletters are so well written, they're funny, they're engaging, even, you know, the subject line hooks you.
And we have a retired dentist who actually writes all the script that's put out on our e-blast before a movie comes out, and he's brilliant. I mean, he's just a brilliant writer.
That's great.
AARP of Michigan, and they are showing the movie 42, which is the life story of Jackie Robinson, starring Harrison Ford. And the fun thing about this is that it is a free event to everybody. All you have to do is go on our website and either pre-register online or pre-register by phone. And the first 500 people get a $3.50 free concessions coupon.
Oh, that's
kick it off.
And that's the other big plus. Let's talk about the concession stand and how do you keep prices so low?
Award-winning. We have an award-winning concession stand. It actually is award-winning by the Free Press, and we work real hard to keep the prices. We use real butter, 100% pure butter. Our cheap candy is $1. Whole top counter is $1, and our expensive candy is $2. So it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
So if you actually charge what the theaters charge, you could actually pay the heating bill without a problem here,
absolutely. Absolutely. We could charge,
Well, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll get this on the air and get a lot of people here. So that's it for our episode of Digging Detroit. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you can stop by both the Detroit Film Theater and the Redford Theater soon.